Yep. Finally, we beat Chicago. What's going on, Ducks Nation? What is up, you all? RWA, what is up? It's your boy Jordan Trask. Let's talk about the Ducks win against the Blackhawks, shall we? Yeah. So good game to all the Blackhawks fans, to Chicago, Hoosier, Austin. It was a great hockey game. So remember we talked about it before Anaheim beat Chicago to end their mentality losing streak to Chicago's winning streak against Anaheim. So we're not going to talk about the November 12th hockey game because I left Honda Center. Because you know what? The Ducks finally beat the Blackhawks 3-2 in overtime. Frank Vetrano, the hero. And possibly the fact at the end of the day, the Ducks tied up at 2 was, because it was just a fact. Jason Magna tied it up, and then Brett Leeson just tied it up in 1, and then tied it up in 2 in the second period. Because the Ducks just knocked off the Blackhawks. So if everyone keeps asking like that, that's cool. Because Anaheim's owned back to Chicago. But yes, Anaheim owns back Chicago because Chicago still owns us. And then we own them back for the first time since, March 4th, 2018 and December 5th, 2018. Last time we beat the Blackhawks. Because, in 2019 in February, we got beaten by the Blackhawks. Includes the Rickard Rakell, a game misconduct penalty for the hit. We're not talking about that. No. Back to 2019-2020 season before COVID. We lost them 3 times. And then 21-22 season, we lost to them again because we got swept. And that is so bad right now. That is so bad at the end of the day. Well, I can't deal with this hockey game. But I can deal with a hockey game with the Ducks win over the Blackhawks. But finally, for the first time since the 2017-18 season and the 2018-19 season, it includes beating the Blackhawks twice in 2016-17 season. Oh, and then, you know what? We did want to beat the Blackhawks for about a few years to go on. But we got beaten twice in 2015-16 season, but we beat them one time to a response since the 2015 Western Conference Final rematch. Because much as I gotta say, 2016 and 17 season, we beat Chicago twice at United Center and at Honda Center. Because a lot of people talk about it. Like, we beat them in April and then we beat them in March. Back to when I was 12 years old, when my Anaheim Ducks beat the Chicago Blackhawks. But when I was at the game, when I was 11 years old in 2016 for a post-Thanksgiving hockey game, I had to go watch the Anaheim Ducks take on the Chicago Blackhawks. It includes 2015 Stanley Cup playoffs. And then, in 2019, I remember that. We went to a 2019 hockey game at Honda Center in November. But then in 2022, like in November 12th, we went to Honda Center to watch the Ducks take on the Chicago Blackhawks. But in 2023, we finally beat Chicago for the first time since 2018 season. Because at the end of the day, Trevor Zegras against Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane. We had Ryan Getzlaf. But it's the end of an era. No more Getzlaf, no more Andrew Shaw, no more Corey Crawford, no more Corey Perry, and no more Duncan Keith. It is a new era. Like, possibly, to Seth Jones and Kevin Shattenkirk era. Because, obviously, why not? The Ducks owns back the Blackhawks because John Gibson did not play, Anthony Stolarz, and then Peter Mrazek. It was a new beginning era for Stolarz and Mrazek era. I see these fans, I see a few Blackhawks fans who talk about talking, prepare of the trash talking war. But you know what? At the end of the day, the Ducks knocked off the Blackhawks. Because I gotta have to say a few things. So, to my fellow Ducks fans out there, Mazdali Dashy 937 and Modog, and of course, and Annie Smith too. Yes, to the other Ducks fans in Anaheim, Annie Smith. So for this reason, because we always take a win out of it over Chicago. Because for a reason about the Anaheim Ducks being the Chicago Blackhawks, it's probably in the 2006-2007 season when the Ducks beat the Blackhawks, like a couple years ago. Because Ryan Getzlaf and Jonathan Toews played against each other with Ducky Keith. But you know what? It was an end of an era between like Ryan Getzlaf, Andrew Shaw, Duncan Keith, and then Corey Crawford and Corey Perry. And then what other Ducks player is it? Oh yeah, Scott Niedermayer. Because but I know what it was. Frederik Andersen and Corey Crawford duel in a goaltending matchup from the 2015 Stanley Cup playoffs. And then Jacob Silverberg. We had Matt Bolesky and Kyle Palmieri, and then Thomas Fleischman. Yeah, Thomas Fleischman, of course. We had him. But the Ducks had few hockey players like Frederik Andersen. We used to have Frederik Andersen at the end of the day. The Blackhawks used to have few guys like Brad Richards and then Antoine Vermette. Oh, yeah. Remember we had Antoine Vermette on our Ducks team. But, yeah, we had Antoine Vermette. Because, Max Comtois played good. And then Trevor Zegras and Jason Mechna. Because, like Jay Jaguar and then Scott Niedermayer. Timo Solani and then Paul Correa. Because we had few Ducks players who take on the Chicago Blackhawks. I'm like, oh my goodness, yeah. Because we had Kevin Bieksa too and Ryan Kessler. Because Ryan Kessler used to go with us at the end of the day. Because Ryan Kessler was a better hockey player than just other guys. But the Blackhawks still have Tyler Johnson since the trade from Tampa Bay. And then they have their player, Anthony Andres Athanasiou, like right now. Because why not? Because not why not, but why? Because Anaheim takes the owning back of Chicago out of a hand from the every hockey season in the NHL. Like, you mean it at the end. Because you know what right now? You know what's good? What is it for Anaheim? Because the Ducks can go on and beat the Chicago Blackhawks 3-2. So don't need to talk about the 3-2 Ducks loss against Chicago from November. And then from the other last seasons from getting swept again by Chicago twice. But I could talk about how the Anaheim Ducks beat the Chicago Blackhawks in 2018-2019 season. Especially in 2018, we got beaten in October. And then we beat them in December. And then in February, we got beaten out because of Rickard Rakell's game misconduct penalty. I mean, that game was terrible. That 2019 hockey game in February was terrible. Because, why not? Because Rickard Rakell took a game misconduct penalty. Oh, yeah, we had Rakell, and then we had Hampus Lindholm. We did have two of these guys. Yeah. Then you proceed to trade Rickard Rakell to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Because you know what? We traded Hampus Lindholm to Boston. Because why not, though? Because the Ducks need no lack of aggression here. We had more aggressive hockey players that could be better than some other Blackhawk players in the NHL, like in the National Hockey League. Because what is it for a reason? Like, probably go with that. With always a reason to go with it. Because like in Game 5 in the 2015 Stanley Cup playoffs of the Western Conference Final, Matt Bolesky took the game-winning overtime goal in Game 5. Because, we did have Matt Bolesky. Because Bolesky was good. We had him on our team. And they scored an overtime goal in overtime and win of a Game 5 matchup against Chicago. So, the possibly is not always an easy job. Because Randy Carlyle and Bruce Boudreau against Joel Quenneville was possibly not that difficult. You know what I mean? The Blackhawks used to have their coach named Joel Quenneville. And then, for some reasons, we did have Randy Carlyle and Bruce Boudreau and then Dallas Eakins, the other Blackhawks coach, including one that was Joe Quenneville. You know what? Okay, so it's not it because the Ducks can go on to beat the Chicago Blackhawks at the end of the day. Because we know what happens right now. Because we said this a few times. Like, Anaheim knocking out of Chicago's hand with a winning streak could go. Well, you know what? by the way, we said this before. Anaheim owns back Chicago after Chicago owning us a few times. But we take this back together because, like in the 2015 Stanley Cup playoffs, we have beaten them in game 1, and then game 3, and then game 5. We did not beat them in game 6. But we got beaten twice in game 6 and 7. We did not go back to the 2015 Stanley Cup final. Oh, yeah, we had a former Ducks player that is a current Lightning player, Patrick Maroon, at the end of the day. And, well, I got to keep this going. So, you know what, guys? I'm going to head out. It's your boy, George Trask. Peace. Go Ducks. Fly together. Blackhawks, we own you back. So go Ducks. Peace.